Today we're getting down with vocal processing, specifically amazing vocal processing, quick and easy, all for you. I just want to show you how to do some quick reverb, quick delay tricks, and also how to get your compressors on lock and how I do it. So let's go and dive in. If you guys want to make things easier for yourself, you can always go on my Patreon. I'll have these racks and effects all in there if you guys need. Otherwise, just follow along and we'll be able to get this done. I am using some third-party plugins because I do think they are pretty necessary. I'm using some FabFilter plugins, the de-esser. This removes the sibilance, which is the S when the vocalists say the S sounds. So this helps. Basically, we're going to make things loud. So those S's, the S, will pop up and be very loud and prominent. We've got to make sure we control those right away. Also, we're using the Pro L. And the Pro L is basically going to just limit the sound. Limiting means that when it hits 0, it's just not going to go past 0. It's limiting it at 0. This is going to be very helpful too. So this first vocal sounds like this.
I'm not going to go to the internet. I'm about that dashing. It's time to meet up. Broke niggas know we not internet. Go get some bigger and time to eat up. Tricycle, nigga ain't nothing to get popped. It's simple. Bitch, I'm setting up shop in the middle. Had the credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them. Working buzz. I had to.
Now, if we listen to this without all the effects.
Tricycle, nigga ain't nothing to get popped. It's simple. Bitch, I'm setting up shop in the middle.
So this is the original acapella. This is from a freestyle, LA Leakers freestyle with the Migos.
Tricycle,
Off,
nigga ain't nothing.
On.
Tricycle, nigga ain't nothing to get popped. It's simple. Bitch, I'm setting up shop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them. Working buzz. I had to go trim them. I ain't want to kill them, so I dipped them. All
right, cool. So that's what we're working with. We have reverb, delay, and we have some stuff just for effects. So I'll automate some things just for cool effect. And those are important that you see here. First one is an auto filter. The auto filter is bringing in the frequencies at the beginning. So here you see some automation.
The bag is right there, go get it. Them bag is right there, 250.
Slowly bringing in the high frequencies.
I was racking my gun in the kitchen.
Very helpful.
On the low, we fucking your bitches. Wipe his nose, but no, not a tissue.
This delay is going to be activated only in a very small section, which is the end of the phrase, and right before the breakdown. So the last word here,
Grinch.
We have Grinch. Repeat. It's going really long. We make it long by using 8. We make it long by also keeping the feedback high. Dry and wet is low as well. That controls the volume of it if you want it loud or soft. And then ping pong will make it go from left to right.
Grinch.
So that's really helpful. That's only activated.
Oh, not dripping, not drenched. Finesse in the back like the Grinch.
So those are the effects that we're using. Everything else is going to be adding to the sound. These imagers, though, these are just for monitoring so I can see how wide everything is throughout the signal flow. Now that you know that, we'll go ahead and mute everything and you can start listening to what we got going on. So we can listen to this.
Shop in the middle, I'm having credentials. Shop in the tricycle. Nigga ain't nothing to get popped. It's simple. Shop in the middle, I'm having credentials. You a dud.
So we go ahead and add the de-esser.
Shop in the middle, I'm having credentials. You a dud.
I just go to single vocal male wideband. This is going to reduce the sibilances and only the S's volumes. That's going to help a lot. This here is the compressor. Now you can add an OTT or over-the-top compression, but it'll sound a little bit too muddy and it may mess up the vocal. So you kind of want to go minimal with it. I like to use the multi-band dynamics, which is very powerful, but also very clean at the same time. And we're using parallel processing here. So we have 3 chains. One chain is the main chain with the multi-band dynamics. If you want to know how to make one of these groups, you simply get the multi-band dynamics like this. You hit Command G to group it. Hit this button right here to open up your chains and start duplicating the chain. You then have 3 separate chains and you can delete the effects as needed. Start making the chain. So that's what we did over here. Now this first chain is going to be the mono signal. Very important. We need to have the signal going in the middle for the main vocal. Whenever you have vocals, you'll be recording them in mono. And if you see here, we have it soloed.
Chop in the middle.
When it's playing, it's only going in the middle.
Chop in the middle.
That's what we want. We also have this Pro L to limit it at 0. I hit to the left of default and it goes to vocals natural limiting. I'm using that preset. And then we just have the multiband dynamics. It's default. The only thing we changed here is 43% dry and wet. This is adding volume. Listen.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them. Working buzz. I had to go trim.
Adding brightness. Subtle, but needed.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials.
Cool. So then these other chains are just Y chains. We have one panned all the way to the left, low volume at -10. The other one's panned all the way to the right. Same thing.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them. Working buzz. I had to go trim them. Dip them.
We use this Haas effect. We use this multiband dynamics. We use this EQ. The mids are turned all the way down. There's no mids. You see here, they're all the way down. The sides are up.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to
We're
go
just making a whole new
Working buzz,
wide
I had to go
signal, a
trim
whole new left signal, and a
Chop in
right
the middle.
signal.
I'm having
And we combine them together.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them.
We get a full signal there.
Chop in the
Now, when we look at that full
Chop
signal,
in the middle. I'm having credentials. Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials.
it's wide.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them.
That's good. And we still retain the middle signal, most importantly. After that, we just go ahead and add a Dripment quick verb, which is still parallel processing. We keep the original signal. We add a little bit of saturation to that signal. Then we add the reverb, which is the convolver snare. We're using the Halls, and we're using soft Hall. 370 milliseconds on 80%.
Chop in the middle.
That's what the reverb sounds like.
Working buzz. I had to go trim them.
So we're basically bringing a reverb signal in with the original signal. So it's adding gain while also adding the reverb.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a
So off,
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials.
on.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp
It's
them.
a lot louder. So we start to clean up some frequencies. We cut the lows. We make a little dip here.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them.
Once again,
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials.
seeing how wide it is. Add the Fletcher Munson curve. Cut out more lows. These are the frequencies that we perceive louder. So we turn these down
Chop in the middle.
just to help our ears.
Chop in the middle. I'm having credentials. You a dud. I had to go shrimp them. Working buzz. I had to go trim them.
As you see
I ain't
here,
want to
these are the effects that we had earlier. And that's that whole chain.
chop in the middle.
This is my minimal chain. This isn't too heavy. This is a perfect chain that I'll include in the Patreon. This will be sick. If you guys want this reverb here, though, I'll include that for free in the description below. So get that hybrid reverb preset. It's going to be awesome. Convolver for life. Now, a big tip here is if you're ever in a studio or something and they don't have the ability to sync your delay and you want to add a delay, you can easily calculate it. If you just use 30,000 and you divide it by the BPM, which in this case is 142, we would get the milliseconds. So this is 211 milliseconds. So this is now in time. If we change it to 211 milliseconds, that means that's an eighth delay, an eighth note delay time. So basically, we could use this delay and it'd be a perfect eighth note delay, just like how this is eighth.
Don't want to get popped, don't open your top, better be militant. They talking about COVID when I heard the news, I started sipping the remedy.
Then you have a nice perfect delay, use it subtly, and you can always calculate it wherever you are in case you can't sync it. Of course, 60,000 would be like a quarter note delay, and then 15,000, for example, would be a 16th note, and so on. So yeah, good trick. Next, we just want to look at the last vocal here. For this one, we add the same de-esser, doing the same thing, but this time instead of the multi-band compressor rack that I showed you, we just add a drip TT, which is an OTT with the dynamics turned off and just the compression working. We have it used at 27%, 2 decibels. This makes a big difference to the vocal. It makes it muddier, it makes it crunchier. Usually this isn't wanted, but during this heavy drop, it kind of sounds good.
My bad, I forgot to mention.
Regular.
Through the pandemic, we was still running up chicken.
With it on.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chickens.
Crunchier, brighter, louder. This is cool. We go ahead and add the same multi-band dynamics comp. See, left, right.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up.
So adding a lot of compression here. Add the same quick verb.
My bad,
settings.
I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chickens. My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chickens, whipping that shit in the kitchen. You make a.
Then this EQ is taking out a lot of frequency.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running.
So this is what it was before, very loud.
My bad, I forgot.
So we got to mix it in with the drop. So I turned down a lot of these frequencies.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chickens, whipping that shit in the kitchen.
Before?
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chicken.
After.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chicken, whipping that shit in the kitchen.
Me doing this makes the background go, makes the vocal go in the background, and then the basses become the star of the show, and then they start to become balanced. We start to
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic.
This is cool in the middle, that's just fine.
A
little wide, but that's all good. We have this compressor. Lastly, sidechain compression. So every time the kick plays, we have this vocal ducking in volume so that it just fits well in the drop.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chickens, whipping that shit in the kitchen.
It sounds like this.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was.
But I just use it at -6 decibels.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chickens, whipping that shit in the kitchen. You make a mention of the way to make you go missing, don't do the sneak dissing. I'm stopping they niggas for bad as you niggas for bitches like you niggas. Run out of money, my niggas don't get it, cause every day government printing.
Woo! Yes. That's how we vocal process. Quick and easy. This is the first video of many vocal processing because we always need it. It's very important. I hope you guys learned some things. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Dripment. I'm out. Later.
Spinning that he wants to strike with the gang of D-Up.
My bad, I forgot to mention, through the pandemic, we was still running up chickens, whipping that shit in the kitchen. You make a mention of the way to make you go missing, don't do the sneak dissing. I'm stopping they niggas for bad as you niggas for bitches like you niggas. Run out of money, my niggas don't get it, cause every day government.